Welcome back to Crypto in Review, your daily crypto channel. In this series, I'm starting a new one calling Crypto Highlights, about all the top YouTubers and what they had to say. In today's episode, there's some bullish news about the SEC coming from Datadash, as well as some bullish formations forming on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. Stay tuned to see all about that. As for crypto highlights, let's start off with Crypto 99, saying that crypto trends do not have an impact.
Article. Google searches for Bitcoin down 75% since early 2018. Granted, so are some people's portfolios, so that may be correlated in some sense, but I've heard about this in the past, Google Trends being an indicator for Bitcoin price action. I've heard that, and some people will take it out of context and you just use the United States Google Trends, which isn't really indicative of any price action. So I pulled up the global worldwide price just for the last 90 days. And for the last 90 days, it's been overcut in half. So the interest in Bitcoin has been cut in half. Now, what's interesting is if you look at crypto, it's a lot more flat than it is cut in half. So yeah, sure, it's gone from 75 to 50, 51, but crypto is better. And if you look, let's just do cryptocurrency, same thing as Bitcoin. So, I mean, maybe not the same thing as Bitcoin. Bitcoin was a lot lower than that. But the interest in crypto hasn't taken as big of a hit as the interest in Bitcoin. I think that's more commensurate with Bitcoin dominance than interest in cryptocurrency. Because you could do this for blockchain, for cryptography, and really you could do it for Ethereum and for all kind of other different stuff. Let's do that. I didn't even do it for Ethereum. Ethereum, search, we'll do topic. Ethereum as a topic. Okay, so Ethereum as a topic, somewhat the same as Bitcoin, but not quite as a big of a decline. And it's interesting that China's search interest in Ethereum is the highest in the world. So that's interesting that China's searching more about Ethereum. Very interesting. I wonder if what the Neo community thinks about that. But anyway, I hope you guys got something out of this video. I just wanted to...
Now, I disagree with that statement. Firstly, if any new investor gets into cryptocurrency, what's the first one they know? Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin. It's the gateway to getting to other coins. Only Coinbase you can get Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. But I mean, if you're a newbie investor wanting to get in the market, what we need at the moment, you'll probably search how to buy Bitcoin, not how to buy cryptocurrency. Most people don't even know what a cryptocurrency is, so how can you take that as an indicator? You have to look at Bitcoin. Sorry, it's the biggest one, so it's the big daddy of crypto. And it drives the market. I mean, it goes up, all the other coins goes up, all of them. It's just how it is. I disagree with that. We'll have to look at Google search trends. As soon as Bitcoin starts taking off, we know we're in a full-on bull market. I'll be selling out a lot of my positions, not waiting to get through and crash again like January. As for the traveling crypto, here's this bullish pattern of head and shoulders on Bitcoin. Have a listen.
ETC. This is the 1 week chart giving us a little bit of a higher level view as to what's going on. If you've been following me the last few weeks, you'll see that I was saying that this looks like a forming reverse head and shoulders pattern, with this being the right shoulder, and that we actually need prices to move up in order for this right shoulder to complete. It looks like we are on that path. There is major resistance, obviously, around 6,800 on the weekly chart, which resulted from the weeks toward the last week of March and the first week of April. You'll see these two arrows here, and this was just in relation to the inverse head and shoulders and this neckline, which we can use as a resistance line, saying that if we break above that, we could see a rally. If we get to the neckline and see a rejection, then we could obviously decline. I mean, that's not rocket science here. Let's take a more granular view looking at the 1 day chart. you'll see that this Fibonacci retracement is based on this recent swing high that we saw in the beginning of May at around 9,800, and the low is the start of this rally. Really, we've been on, theoretically, I mean, not theoretically, matter of factly, we've been on an uptrend since the beginning of April, even though that uptrend has now, we're almost parallel, or we almost hit parallel to where this uptrend started, but technically we are still on an uptrend. We would not be on an uptrend if we broke this support line right here. One positive note is you do see this divergence between the price and the RSI, as well as the price and the stochastic, almost the same slant or the same angle of divergence. Now, this is what is called a hidden bullish divergence. And what a hidden bullish divergence tells you, or hidden divergence tells you versus a regular divergence, is a hidden divergence tells you that trends are likely to continue, whereas a regular divergence tells you that a possible reversal is on the way, whether that is to an uptrend or downtrend. It depends on the direction you're moving. So in this case, like I said, we've been on an uptrend, so a hidden bullish divergence where the price makes a higher low and the oscillators make a lower low, that tells you that this uptrend is likely to continue. Obviously, the one important contingent here being the volume. And as we've discussed before many times, this volume doesn't really support any kind of heavy rallies momentarily, right? So
I like this YouTuber. He has a lot of sense when he talks about TA. If we go back to the head and shoulders, we'll have to wait and see if it finishes. Once it hits the neckline, I'll be waiting on getting a huge long position. That'll signal we're out of this sort of channel, as you can see here. We'll probably go upward, most likely, on the week. I think we're going to hit a bottom at around, maybe tomorrow. I think tomorrow we're still going to have a trade day. I don't have any short position. I've got one long one on BitMEX. Go watch my previous episode, as well as there's an airdrop free tokens in as well. It's called Parachutes. It's pretty easy. The link will be in the description. Now let's look at Suppoman. He had some valuable points on a super infrastructure hash graph. I like this project. I want to get into it, but you have to be an accredited investor, as far as I know.
Infrastructure that goes beyond blockchain. So we don't just have blockchain anymore. Now we have non-blockchain infrastructures, ones that are now using different consensus algorithms. Consensus algorithms that don't rely on blocks, block sizes, and all of that good stuff is actually taking that further and evolving. So essentially, we are going to be looking at the holochains, the hash graphs, the currency of the internets. We're going to be looking at these kind of cryptocurrencies, the Tolars, the ones that are non-blockchain based. These are going to be the super infrastructures, okay? Because, Hashgraph is statistically the one most likely to do the best out of all infrastructures. Why? Because of the way it reaches consensus, and also because of what it is achieving so far is 250 times faster than anything out there. And the proof is in the pudding, because with Hashgraph, they have got one particular project I have looked at, which is called Satori, and you've got to check that out, all right? That gives you an indication of what is going to come out of Hashgraph, okay? However, what we are seeing more and more now, and it's becoming a trend, which I see Hashgraph as being the king of, is non-blockchain infrastructures. So you've got to have your hand in a variety of pies when it comes to blockchains, because these are the ones that are increasing the these are the ones that are increasing the I suppose the advancement of dApps. Okay, dApps, right? So that takes me to the next slide. dApp.
Anyway, I think Hashgraph is a great project, even though it's heavily centralized. As far as I know, they're only going to put out their code once. All the other updates they're going to keep apart. It won't be open source like Ethereum and Bitcoin, all that. That's probably good for forking, so you won't get 10 million hash graphs like Bitcoin Diamond and what other shit Bitcoin does. Bitcoin Gold, Diamond, Dark, Bitcoin Private. John McAfee took over the project. I took in a position just for hype trading. This is not financial advice, by the way, just my opinion. But I mean, look at all these shit projects on Bitcoin. Hashgraph being not as open source will probably stop all this shitty projects coming out. Let's see how many Bitcoins are there. Okay, anyway, there's a couple of them. But we can't have forking all of these shit coins. One of my favorite YouTubers knows what's hot. He's talking about some bullish news about the Ethereum. Have a listen.
Developments here. I want to spend some time to talk about two positive articles, one in relation to the SEC and one in relation to South Korea. So going on to talk about the SEC, they just appointed a new advisor, what they call a crypto czar, first ever in regards to the SEC, who is specialized in blockchain and cryptocurrencies in the past, or distributed ledger technology, and has helped with token raises and different types of aspects in regards to the cryptocurrency space that the SEC will deal with. And what's nice is that she's serving in an advisory role that's going to help lead in the decision-making process for the SEC. Again, a very positive thing. It's, in this case, in regards to the SEC, who's filling these roles and what roles do they serve, under their different roles of leadership. What's nice is that basically Valerie, oh God, I looked up how to pronounce the name. I'm not going to try, okay? I don't want to embarrass myself. Generally speaking, though, Valerie has, like I said, been through the process of helping out in regards to leading in regards to cryptocurrency and token sale operations throughout the SEC before, and her new role she's going to be serving under is going to help her further push the agenda that she's worked in before and help lead in the SEC with dealing with these issues. Again, the big push that they really kind of push here, I love her quote here, it shows how generally the SEC has been trying to approach this market. Many people think that the SEC is an absolute hawk on cryptocurrencies. They, just like the CFTC and a few other institutions, they have different definitions of cryptocurrencies and different interpretations. But the fact that they've been actually allowing a lot of things to go on in the cryptocurrency space shows that they don't really want to suppress the cryptocurrency space. In fact, they want to make sure to protect Main Street investors. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you don't need the government to protect you. And guys, I get that. But the thing is, we don't have proper education.
We need the government to protect us. There are way too many idiots out there. I mean, like BitConnect last year. If you're going to look on their website, there's a triangle. I mean, pyramid scheme. What shape's a triangle? What shape's a pyramid? A triangle. Like, how could you fall for BitConnect? Were you absolute idiots? As well as this power of weekend. Why support? Don't go into Ponzi schemes at all. Just think logically. Don't be a dumbass.
In the United States, at least in the
For BitConnect, it was on the front page showing a triangle. I mean, how much more do you need of a pyramid scheme than showing a triangle?
US in regards to the SEC about how to spot scams, how to spot fraud, how to spot Ponzi schemes. And there's a lot of that in the crypto space. There's a lot of get rich quick mentality. And there's also some corrupt things in regards to the ICO space and all these different things. So because of that, I think it's really nice to see someone who says that they're excited to take on this new role to help protect mainstream investors, but also to help bring capital formation, to help formulate this industry, to help set regulatory definitions that are still very obscure right now, and actually help foster innovation to help support the ICO space going back towards its roots and bringing in retail investors into the space. I hope that's what we can see. But again, either way, it's good to have people like this in here who can actually come in and actually lead us towards more positive developments and at least adoption of some sort into cryptocurrencies rather than suppression. So next up, I want to spend some time.
As for that, I really like it. SEC needs shit together so USA doesn't fall behind on the cryptocurrency world. This should be a good sign. Hopefully that girl knows what's going on in cryptocurrency and advise a bit better. Get crypto ICOs back in the USA. Credited. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. As for EOS with Ivan on Tech, go and subscribe to his channel as well. He's a good programmer and he knows what's going on in the tech world. He's talking about EOS, about how you'll be able to reset your private key. That to me is a great thing. I mean, you can reset your password. Why not your private key if you've got a lot? Even though there's security risk, it will help a bit more novice investors getting into it. I like EOS. I'm holding a long-term position on it. We'll have to wait and see what's happening with that. There's 17 airdrops. That's a lot. But anyway, let's listen to what he has to say.
So of course, the burden switches from user to developer. So basically you have lazy code costs, consumer gas fees, and here you have dynamic pricing, meaning that the developers and not consumers pay for gas. So this is another difference. Moving forward, you have straightforward transactions, options for transaction time lock delays. So this is basically that you can cancel transactions. Another aspect here is just the programming environment and the programming language.
As for the developers paying for gas, that's a great thing. Consumers don't want to pay. Imagine if you had to pay for Facebook. No one would be using it. All software today needs to be free. You have to get the money from the business. Business to business, not business to consumer. It should be free for consumers. That's my opinion. That's a great move for EOS. It's another plus in my book. As for the programming languages,
languages. So on Ethereum you have Solidity, and then also you have this new programming language called Viper coming out in a few years or whenever they decide to release it. Basically what you have is that you have EVM, this Ethereum virtual machine, and then you use a programming language that compiles down to EVM bytecode, because EVM, it only cares about ones and zeros basically, and Solidity and Viper are just programming languages on top which compile down to this bytecode. While on EOS you have C++. So this is also what we teach in our courses, C++ and programming on EOS. And because this is WebAssembly, so if you actually go to VASM, you realize, or actually the link goes somewhere else, but anyway, you see that C++ is basically, they say that EOS is based on blockchain.
No Java. I like Java. Programming language, I'm good at. C++, it's really rusty for me. But anyway.
Blockchains execute user-generated applications and code using WebAssembly. Let's see if we can get to WebAssembly link. And here you realize also that they can add other programming languages to WebAssembly. Because it is WebAssembly, it doesn't mean that they're kind of stuck with C++. You can add other programming languages as well on top of it. But currently it is only C++, and I expect in the future for them to add more programming languages. So another difference, and this is more from a software development standpoint, and I think Solidity and Viper are easier for developers. I mean, definitely, because when we're talking about C++, you realize how much responsibility developers now suddenly have. And
C++ is just one shit language. It's confusing for new developers. I don't like it at all.
And writing good C++ code is very hard, especially nowadays when most developers work in web technologies. You realize that, you know what, most developers haven't touched C++ in quite some time. But then, of course, you have these super hardcore geeks as well who are using C++ on daily basis. But if you just look generally, people are not using C++ in their daily life. If you just take all developers and pick one developer randomly, most probably they work in JavaScript or something. So therefore, if a developer, or therefore if you adjust different ideologies as well. So in proof that proof of work works because it's so simple. I mean, it is just hashing, and whoever can hash the fastest, and then you can have ASICs, and they have $1 trillion, and I can buy all of these rigs. If I'm not trusted by the community, I will not be elected. My view flawed, and you might disagree, and let's discuss, leave your and therefore it is kind of, you know, governance centralization. This is why also you need to realize that here when people say that this is highly decentralized and this is somewhat centralized, Decentralization means so many different things. You can talk about, technical decentralization. You can talk about
He talks about the private keys that can be reset. I mean, Coinbase, you can reset your password. Their security is the core. So I don't think setting your private key would be such a big negative point.
to reset them. EOS provides an owner key that can reset a private key. So this is also something to realize, that in EOS you try to have this, approach where even if you lose a private key, you can still kind of recover it. And this is a lot how currently web applications work. If you lose a password, you need to recover it, and there are ways to recover it. Finally, protocol change is slow but methodic.
Anyway, that's what I wanted to show there. Videos. Show you. Crypto Zombie. I have not watched his new episode. Probably do a recap on it. Watch this. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe if you like this content. Leave a like and comment. And follow me on Twitter. Go watch my previous episode that I'm going to upload later on. How weird does that sound? For free crypto, as well as my play of the day. And my long position. Just got filled. Wonder how much. Made a bit profit again. On a roll, 2 days now. And for UKC, I also made 20%. And that's going up. Anyway, subscribe, leave a like, follow me on Twitter, tweet me something funny, tweet me or meme. Thanks for tuning in.